In today's video, I'm going to show you my top 30 most used tools in the shop. A lot of these tools you will have heard of, but I can give you some quick tips on. And some of these tools I can promise you, you have never heard of, but you might end up buying after you watch this video. And if you stick around to the very end, I'll even give a few honorable mentions of some tools that didn't quite make the top 30, but I still use very often. Let's get started. So I'll start off very basic, and that is with my table saw. The table saw, like probably most woodworkers would say, is the heart of my shop. I use the SawStop table saw, the 1.75 horsepower version, and I love this. Once again, SawStop's not sponsoring this video, or none of the tools that you see me talk about are sponsors, but I love SawStop. It cuts so smoothly. If you don't know what a SawStop is, the blade has flesh sensing technology in it, and electrical current is actually running through the blade. And so if skin touches the blade, it completes a circuit, and a brake will hit the blade and jerk it below the table. You'll have to replace the blade every time that happens, so don't just go hitting your hand on it, and also that would just be dumb anyways. But it is just nice having that extra safety feature, because of course everything we want to do in the woodworking shop, we want to be very, very safe. So for me, it's SawStop. They're not paying me to say that. I just genuinely love this table saw. Sticking with the table saw theme, tool number 2 is a good pair of safety goggles. Quick tip, keep these close to your table saw, otherwise you'll be tempted to not wear them. So if you store them really close, you can just grab them, put them on, and then get to work. Number 3, have a respirator that you also keep close to your table saw. A lot of people don't know this, but black walnut dust, which is one of the main woods I work with, black walnut, when you cut it, the sawdust is toxic and you don't want to be breathing that in. And so even if you have good dust collection in your shop, I would recommend wearing a respirator at least whenever you cut black walnut. That'll keep your lungs safe. And number 4, I love these 3M earmuffs. They really, really reduce the noise, and once again, keep these close to your table saw or any other tool that makes a lot of noise so that you can protect your ears. These also have Bluetooth capability, so you can hook them up to your phone. I personally, a lot of times in the woodworking shop, will be listening to college football talk radio, Pate State, if you know, you know. And so these are really, really great, protects your hearing, and also can make woodworking a lot more enjoyable, especially if you're sanding, because no one likes sanding. So have a podcast or some music on while you sand. It makes it more bearable. And number 5, before we move on from the table saw, I would also recommend having some push sticks in your shop. Now this is one that I bought, but you can also take some scrap wood, trace out this design, cut it out on your bandsaw, and have multiples of these, so that you can even have sacrificial push sticks that you kind of cut through from time to time. Never, ever, ever try to make a cut that has your hand close to the table saw blade at all. Don't think, oh, it's just one cut. Don't do it. Have a push stick to keep your hands safe. Tool number 6 is my Powermatic dust collector. So of course this is right next to my table saw, which is the tool that generates the most dust in my shop. And I love this dust collector. Soon I'm going to be upgrading the filter, but it is a great, great dust collector. Not sponsored, but would recommend. You can turn it on and off here. You can also leave it on for a certain amount of time if you just want it to be running for an hour while you're making tons of cuts, and then it will shut off automatically. It also comes with a remote that you can turn it on or off, or set a timer. If you're at the other end of your shop and just don't want to be walking back and forth all the time, this remote is super, super handy. Sticking with the theme of dust collection, tool number 7 is this flexible hose that runs from one of the dust collection ports to the tools that I use dust collection with. These hoses aren't the best. This isn't an ideal dust collection system. There's a lot of resistance with these ridges. PVC built-in dust collection is much better. I'm just not at that stage yet, so this is what I use, and it works okay. It's definitely better than nothing. It just is going to cut down on the efficiency of your dust collection system. Tool number 8 is this King Industries bandsaw. I don't have a lot to say about it other than the fact that I would recommend you getting a bandsaw in your shop. It will cut much smoother and much more accurately than a jigsaw ever could. So yeah, for all of your curve cuts, go ahead and get a bandsaw. Time to talk about clamps. First up, we have these Rockler feet clamps. A little more expensive, but these are great for keeping cutting boards or panels that you're gluing up flat so that you have to do minimal planing. Number 10, we have these spring clamps. These are the kind of clamps that you just want to buy. They're cheap, have them in your shop, and you will use them a lot more than you think you will, especially for small pieces. These can be really handy. And you can also use them to just like hold things to a workbench. So these are handy to have. Number 11, the Irwin Quick Grip Clamps. Quick Grip Clamps. Say that 5 times fast. These are the most used clamps that I use. Generally, whenever I'm gluing up cutting boards and charcuterie boards, I use these because I'm making them in batches and I need a lot of clamps. And these are a great value for the money you pay. They're high quality. I just can't say enough about these things. These are what I use the most by far. And number 12 is bar clamps. These work essentially the same way as the quick grip clamps, except they're not as quick, but they have just as much grip. And I mostly use these for the wider panel glue ups that are too big for quick grips. Tool number 13 is my planer. This is a cheap planer in the sense that it won't cost you a lot of money. I think it's a great starting planer. I am looking to upgrade soon, but it's good for a beginning woodworker. I don't have a lot to say about this, but good planer. Number 14 is my DeWalt miter saw. This has been a great miter saw for many, many years. It's actually technically my dad's, but this is what we use in the shop. And of course we have it mounted to this long workbench so we can cut down very long work pieces quickly and easily. Number 15, staying with this miter saw theme, is this work hold down piece. If you were going to cut a small piece of lumber, once again, for safety reasons, you don't want your hand really close to the workpiece. And so this can let you grip a workpiece with actually more force, keep your hand further away from the blade, and you can work safely and easily. So this is linked in the description along with all the other tools. And number 16 is our Milwaukee miter saw that is on a mobile miter station. This is great for taking things outside. If I want to take this to a job site, it works really, really well. Number 17, my Bosch palm router. This is a great palm router to have. It's served me very, very well. And I don't ever plane boards with this to make them true, but this is great for doing flush trim work, roundovers, chamfers. I use this a ton on my cutting boards and charcuterie boards, which I have a playlist, by the way, that I'll link right up here if you want to check out any of my cutting board or charcuterie board projects. You'll almost always see me use this in those videos just because it's a great router to have. Number 18, jigsaw. Number 19, Bosch sander. Not really sure what kind of sander this is. Let me know in the comments if you know. It's not a belt sander, maybe a finishing sander. Anyways, this sander is really, really good for finishing live edge slabs. So if you've taken a live edge slab, you've planed it with a routing sled to make sure it doesn't have any twists, you're gonna have all those lines from your router bit. This sander takes those lines out way faster than a finishing sander would. So great sander, I use it for that purpose. That's number 19. Number 20 is my spindle sander. I mostly just have this in the shop so I can put stickers on it. I don't use it a ton, but it is nice for sanding the inside of handles on charcuterie boards. It also has multiple diameter spindles that you can attach to it, so works pretty well. I mean, it's a great quality tool. It has really good dust collection. It's a solid tool to have, but I definitely wouldn't buy it in your first 5 tools just because I don't use it a ton. Number 21, the M18 impact driver and drill set. These have worked amazing for me. I've used these for years, and I also have the M12 set, which is a little more small and compact. It's great for installing cabinets because you can get it in those small, difficult to reach places. These of course have the lights. They have battery indicators to let you know how full or how charged your batteries are. They're just a great set of impact drivers and drills. Once again, not sponsored, but once again, link in description. Okay, so far we've gone over the basic tools. You're like, Ben, I know about a table saw, I know about a bandsaw. So now we're gonna get into some more lesser known tools, but tools that I'm always still reaching for on a daily basis when I'm in the shop. So this is where it's gonna get really fun. Number 22, Milwaukee Packout. All of these red containers that you see here are Milwaukee Packout toolboxes, and I love them. They are stackable, as you can see here, and also these toolboxes that have all of my screws and nail storage, you can pull the little cups out and take them to different areas of your shop, which makes moving screws and nails around super easy. It keeps everything organized, and they just look really, really awesome and efficient. Number 23, 1, 2, 3 blocks. Now, I won't go into all of the details about every single possible use for 1, 2, 3 blocks. I have an entire video that I'll link right up here where I go over so many uses for these, but they're perfectly square, so you can use them as squares. They're heavy, you can use them as weights. They measure 1 inch by 2 inches by 3 inches, so you can use them as rulers or spacers on your table saw. I am always using 1, 2, 3 blocks. A great buy. They're linked in the description. I cannot recommend to you enough to buy some 1, 2, 3 blocks. Number 24 is the 720 Craig Jig Pro. You've probably heard of this before, but this makes furniture building a breeze. It is a great pocket hole jig, and to me, this is a great model to get that is going to be robust enough for, you know, it to hold up and be stable and all that kind of stuff. It's got dust collection, but it's not their like highest model. This is just a good middle of the road Craig jig in my opinion. So I use this all the time, and it genuinely does make me more confident when I'm building furniture because it just makes the pocket hole joints so easy. Number 25 is the Bora Centipede workbench system. These tables can be set up in probably about 2 minutes. They're super strong, they're perfectly flat. They come with some great attachments, like these little cookies that can hold your workpiece still, keep it from moving around. They also have some hold downs. So these are awesome tables, especially if you are kind of a newer woodworker and you're working out of your garage. It's great because it's a strong workbench, but then it can fold up and be put away. They're also super strong. I mean, I can literally stand on this. Yeah, very, very strong. I use these a ton when I'm sanding or taking things outside. I'm going to do a lot of routing. You've probably seen me use these in videos before, but they're not sponsored. I just love the tables. They're a great buy. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. Also, if you want to stick around for future woodworking content, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Number 26 is my Grizzly air filter. This is designed to be put next to probably a sander or something like that that's going to generate some dust, but you're going to be working inside your shop. And it's going to suck in all of the very fine sawdust particles that are airborne. And it has this hood so you can be, you know, have your workpiece like right here, and of course you have your sander hooked up to dust collection, but this is going to get a lot more airflow and a lot of those finer particles out of the air. This is a solid air filter. You probably have seen people before make their own by taking a box fan and putting just a normal house air filter in front of it, and that works well. It's the same principle as what this is doing. This is just a little more robust and has a few extra features. Number 27, these glue brushes and scraper combos. These are something you can buy super, super cheap, but they're great for applying glue, spreading it out evenly on a project. They're also great for cleaning up extra glue that squeezes out, maybe if you are doing a cutting board glue up. They're also great for epoxy cleanup. They're great to stir up epoxy. There's tons of uses for these, and it's one of those things that just makes your, you know, glue application, epoxy application a little easier. So, little silly brush, a good buy. And maybe my favorite tool that we'll talk about in this whole video, number 28, is this shop stool. I love this shop stool. It rolls around. It is super helpful and super comfortable for, you know, moving from my table saw to my workbench to my bandsaw. If I'm sitting down gluing up something, it's just nice to have a spot to sit in your shop that can roll super easily. Another great thing about this stool is it has storage underneath the seat. So if you have those tools that you're always reaching for, like a 1, 2, 3 block, you can store it in the bottom of the stool. Great buy, links in the description. Number 29 are these finishing triangles. These have cut my finishing time in half if I'm putting stain on a cutting board or charcuterie board. Basically, you just set them down. After you've put your finish on one side of the board, you can flip it over and apply finish to the opposite side. So you don't have to wait to, you know, for one side to cure, then flip it, then do the other side. So it really does cut your time in half, and you can never see any marks that these little tips leave. So these are super cheap, and they will save you a ton of time in the shop. Number 30 are these mini squares. These are great for holding two boards in perfect square. In fact, you can put this in to check for square and then clamp against it. So you can even glue up some boards and make sure that they hold a perfectly square position. Once again, really cheap. They're smaller, so you can get them in places that maybe a traditional speed square wouldn't fit in. And they're just a great, sturdy, small tool that makes assembly of projects a little bit easier. Hey, thank you for making it all the way through our first 30 tools. I want to give you a few bonus ones that I couldn't quite fit in, but I wanted to give an honorable mention to. The first tool that I put in the bonus was a propane torch. These are great if you do anything with epoxy. If you've done any work with epoxy, like something I did similar in my epoxy cutting board build, you know that getting bubbles out of epoxy is critical. And if you don't have a ton of money to spend on one of those vacuum chambers, a propane torch is a great way to pop bubbles as they appear in your epoxy projects. This one I'll link in the description. It was pretty cheap, probably 15 or 20 bucks. And I always am reaching for this. It's a great tool to have in the shop. Second bonus tool, it's not really a tool, this is kind of cheating, but a Bose Bluetooth speaker, or at least that's the one that I have, some kind of Bluetooth speaker, makes the shop work so much more enjoyable. Once again, I told you guys I'm a huge college football fan, so I love listening to college football podcasts, Pate State, when I'm cleaning up the shop, sweeping up, putting tools back where they were. It just makes the woodworking experience more fun. And that's really why we should all be doing this. I mean, I know some of you probably do this as a side hustle to make some extra money, but don't do a side hustle that you don't enjoy. Otherwise, you're just going to get burnt out on it. And so if you can find those small ways to make woodworking more enjoyable, I just think it will actually help you not get burnt out, help you create things for longer amounts of time. So, I mean, it's a Bluetooth speaker, but I really think it's cool to have one of these in your shop. A third bonus tool you'll want to have is some double-sided tape. You just stick it down, peel the film off, and you can stick two things together. One of the applications I use this double-sided tape for is actually planing small pieces of wood that you couldn't necessarily plane all together, if that makes sense. I have a YouTube short on that if you want to go on the channel and find it. But double-sided tape, there's tons of applications. It's one of those things that you'll never think to buy, and then once you buy it, you'll be using it all the time. So I would recommend picking up a couple of rolls and just having them in your shop. And the fourth bonus tool is a hot glue gun. This is a super cheap one that I got on Amazon, but it does the trick. I usually use hot glue in woodworking for whenever I'm trying to attach two things together that I'm going to detach later. So if you saw my video that I posted recently about building charcuterie boards with acrylic templates, I was attaching the template to the charcuterie board with hot glue, and then I'd scrape it off later. So it's just great to have this in your shop. You'll reach for it often. It's just a great small investment to make. Let me know in the comments, what did I miss? What tools do you always reach for that I might buy? Let me know in the comments. I always check those, and I cannot wait to hear your feedback.